With the harmony, yeah? There's something that is very intuitive and natural and uplifting about the alignment that happens in harmony, the vibrational alignment that happens in harmony by means of music. And our life is meant to be lived the same way. That there is a vibration to our life that is in alignment with the universe, and our task then is to attune to that. And how do we do that? How do we do that? Well, we have to live on the edge. We have to be willing to work our edge. We have to be willing to step beyond what is familiar and comfortable. Right? Not that it's not a good thing to hang out there, but we don't want to plateau there. We want to move into greater ways of living that call us to step up into the creative juice of Spirit itself. And so this is why we come to churches like this, to centers like this, New Thought churches, be they Unity, be they Religious Science, or a myriad of other Christian Science even, that they are calling us to live our life in its most creative way possible, to honor the call that is within each one of us, to be all we can be. Without picking up a rifle. We don't have to join the army. We just have to join the army of good, maybe. That's what we got to do. So today's message has been inspired by this book, The One Thing, by Gary Keller, who has one of the partners of Keller Williams, and also our continuing study with Genevieve in Our Invisible Power, which is what we're using in our Prosperity Plus class, and also TED Talks. So if you don't know about TED Talks, they're online. Check them out. There's a lot of the best. The idea is bringing education and technology and inspiration together in a 20-minute talk. And just really some of the greatest minds on the planet are sharing within TED Talks. One of them being Rory Sutherland, who's an Englishman who I think is probably from Manchester, by his accent, perhaps certainly North England. And very witty, very brilliant. So check him out. And his talk title is about perspective and perception is everything. Now he's a marketing guru. He's a big time marketing thinker, and one of those guys who, with humor and with wit, connects the dots in ways that maybe we hadn't thought about until we heard him. So, TED Talks, Rory Sutherland. And we've been working with Genevieve Berend. Well, actually, we've been working with Thomas Troward by means of Genevieve Berend, who Thomas Troward was a British judge, British-trained lawyer and judge who served in India when it was still a common part of the Commonwealth until they didn't get their independence until years later. But at the turn of the last century, actually the turn of the 19th to 20th century. So yeah, that was a long time before 1978. Yeah, I was born in 78, so that was a while ago. Hey, come on, you're supposed to be part of my demonstration too. So we work with Thomas Troward by means of Genevieve, and we get this little gem. The great architect of the universe contemplated himself as manifesting through his polar opposite, matter. And the idea expanded and projected itself until we have not only a world, but many worlds. So we may be more familiar with an explanation from the Hebrew Bible, from Genesis, that that says that God spoke His word upon the waters, and it's the whole creation cycle unfolded through the power of its word. This is thinking on that a little deeper, that if all is God, then God self-contemplates itself, right? At a level beyond that which can be detected from this realm. But is just as real nonetheless. The metaphysical realm, beyond matter. So God contemplates itself, and then all of creation unfolds out of that intelligence, this world and many worlds. So we've been playing around with this in our Prosperity 2 class in a significant way, because we are really working on dream building in there. That all of us, regardless of the continuum of this time consciousness, of this thing we call human life, all of us have within us a divine urge to express more, to create more. And how do we step into that? Whether it's to be more creative in our love relationships, maybe in the world of music or art or in the written word, in ways of health, that we want to demonstrate perfect and radiant health, in alignment and in harmony with the divine perfection that is already within us, wanting to resonate as perfect health at every level of life, from the smallest subatomic particle to our organs, all the connective tissues, our brain, our nervous system, all of it resonating harmonically and harmoniously with the one intelligence, the great intelligence of Spirit. So knowing all of this, knowing that our thought is in its own way an energy package that kickstarts matter into being, that are what we think matters. What we think matters. So the question then becomes, what are we thinking about? So our vision, I'm using this image as the feeling tone around a dream for our life that is harmonious. A dream for our life that has a resonance with the great architect, with the law, with Spirit, with God as we understand God to be. So we have, this is an image of eastern Washington around the foothills around Yakima. So these are an apple orchard. And I liked it because there's a path and it's facing the east. The sun is coming up, so there's a path and there's a light. We're walking to the light. Even though we're in the light, we're still walking to the light. And so the question then is, what is it? Are we thinking thoughts like this? Or are we thinking thoughts like this? Right? Is our thinking generally like this? Right? Is this where we hang out all day? Or are we here in a trash strike? This is from Toronto. And if you look at the trash, they're actually within this trash, there is usable stuff. There's a shoe right there. It looks like it's my size. Presumably there's a match in it there somewhere. And also this whole pile of garbage could be at least 2/3 smaller if you just removed all the reusable stuff. Look at all these recyclables that are in there. Who knows what treasures are in the trash? Who knows what treasures are in the trash? And yet, if that's the way our thinking looks like, that's what we have to. That's what we get to work with, right? By knowing this, we're working with this to know more of this. So the spiritual axiom around that then, and then we can use the cosmic garbage truck to sort through that trash and put some of them in the cosmic trash can and take it where? To the curb. All right, so think about the way that we deal with our trash. Do we even think about what happens? We're just grateful we remember to get it out to the curb on trash day, right? And then it mysteriously goes somewhere, right? In the same way, our trashy thinking it's the same way that we deal with our trashy thinking. That the cosmic trash collector simply picks it up. Right? Now how does it do that? By focusing on this. Because we're no longer hanging on to this. That one bucket load at a time, right? Our thinking gets sorted out. From the usable and the unusable, we release the things that no longer serve us. And we reuse or reformat, or maybe even just totally let go, and just see what's ready to demonstrate. So, the question then is, what are we thinking? So Rory Sutherland talks about, the nature of thinking. Many of us have heard numbers kicked around, 20,000 thoughts a day, 60,000 thoughts a day, and I don't know how you could even really know that, except I suppose it would be 20 to 60 if you counted all of the autonomic nervous system and all the things that we are thinking below the level of consciousness. But in the book The One Thing, Keller addresses this idea that the normal conscious person thinks 4,000 thoughts a day. 4,000 thoughts a day. So that works out to, let's see, 14, a thought every 14 seconds, which works out to 4.36 thoughts per minute, or 257.14 thoughts per hour. Which means that you are awake, this is presuming that you were awake for about 15 and a half hours a day. Now you should be really impressed with I spent an hour trying to work this out. So here's the thing. All right, so how does this translate into something that means anything? All right, if you consider a thought the size of a tennis ball, okay? One of these trash cans fits enough thoughts for 1 hour. 257 tennis balls will fit in that garbage can. If I converted metric to English properly. Yeah, 257 tennis balls will fit in that garbage can. So that's good to know, especially in the hours of 2 to 3:30 a.m. when I'm up thinking, when I should be sleeping. Yeah? And I can tell you that when I'm up at that time of day, I'm usually thinking maybe 4 thoughts. Not 4 thoughts. No, 4 thoughts over and over and over again. Right? Usually what happens is I dust off resentments. Trash thinking. Trash talk. That doesn't serve me. I don't know what you guys think about. Maybe you're thinking about all the money you have in the bank. That's great. And I'd love for you to know that thought from me as well. I love counting, dollar by dollar. Yeah. So how to shift that? How to keep my vision focused on my dream? How to keep my vision focused on a harmonious outlook upon life that calls me to not only stay on the path, but to keep moving forward. How to cultivate and generate more harmony, more creativity, more peace, more love, more joy into my life. So, to get good results, this is from Genevieve, we must understand that our relation to the great impersonal power we are using. What is the power that we're using? We're using Spirit itself. Right? That's why I love having songs like the one that we had this morning in a Sunday service. When we first look at it, maybe we remember when that song was on the car radio years ago. But it's really, if we turn it just a little bit, and allow that song to be the anthem for spirit itself, right? The feminine and the masculine calling us to soar with it in harmony, and then the power melodically to ride a new tune for our life that is empowered with all of the energy and the vim and the vigor that a harmonious life looks like. It's even got some rhythm and some passion in it too. I first became aware of that with the band U2. The first time I ever heard a CD player was the Joshua Tree album. Right? And there was something about the power of that band, right, that opened me up. Now, I almost lost it this morning listening to you guys. Really. The power, the energy. This is what we're playing with. The impersonal power of what? Of love. So we think impersonal is a negative thing. No. When something loves fully and completely, without judgment of any kind, it appears to be impersonal because it's just saying yes all the time. Love, love, love. So if I'm thinking with the trash pile, it's saying yes, 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 love you, man, here, some more. Shovel this one. Until when? I get tired of shoveling. Wow, I got to put this stuff out on the curb again? Yeah. Right? Until what? Until I recognize that I'm playing with matter. The outward demonstration of a thought that no longer serves me. You know, and the mind is a crazy thing. I'm going to tell myself here that sometimes I'll be having a perfectly good day and I can dust off a resentment that's like 40 years old. Something that happened in high school. And I know I'm not the only one. I mean, you may be more healed, but if you're fully healed, I got a pond I'd like you to walk on. So we must understand our relation to the great impersonal power we are using. The power is intelligent, and we are intelligent because we are a reflection of it. And the two intelligences, right, our understanding, there's really only one intelligence, but we think there's two. Right? We think there's a separateness. Right? We think there's a separateness. We're the ones who get in the way. Right? And so recognizing that we think there's some level of separateness, then, we need to know that there's a power and intelligence greater than we are. We must not fly into the face of the law expecting it to do for us what it can only do how? Through us. That's a big difference. Right? The thing that I think most humans suffer with is victim consciousness. Thinking that the world is not working for them in some way. That people aren't working for them. Their mate is not working for them. Their co-worker. Their body. Right? Being victimized by outward conditions. When we know that there's only one thing, we can heal that victim consciousness and step into a new way of experiencing our life. This is the work. Staying there. We must therefore use our intelligence We must therefore use our intelligence with the knowledge that it is acting as the instrument of greater intelligence, and because we have this knowledge, man should cease from all anxiety as to the final result. So we can use it confidently. Right? We're using a law. Right? If I drop this thing 1,000 times, for 1,000 times it's going to fall. Every time. It's a law. As we drop our thought, just using that same metaphor, as we drop our thought into the law, it's going to demonstrate every time. Now, the truth is that we're surrounded by all this. It's not dropping anywhere. But certainly it's resonating within the law. It's activating the law. It's aligning with, or we're aligning with the law. It's aligning with us because it's only one thing. So in this way, we're the saxophone and spirit is playing the tune. So if you've ever played a musical instrument or if you can sing, even if it's just in the shower when you know no one is listening and you're just belting it out because it feels so good. Right? That is the power of Spirit in expression as the creative intelligence that is within us. Right? In this way, we are the saxophone. That we are the instrument of greater intelligence. And as we understand and know this to be true, all things are added unto us. And that we can rest in the knowing that all is well. This is a big deal. Right? So it looks like we're demonstrating for stuff and things. We take these dream builder classes because why? Because we think that the things that, if we're looking for stuff and things, we think that they're going to fill what? A sense that that will be more secure if we have them than if we don't have them. Now that doesn't mean that it's bad to have stuff. Far from it. We just don't want to be attached to it. We don't want it to define us. Right? We don't want to have, we don't want to drive a Bentley because we'll be all that if we have one. Right? We want to drive a Bentley because we love Bentleys. And we have the consciousness to support it. Right? We're not, we're not blowing off our child support so that we can drive a Bentley, for instance. Right? We're not trading off. We're in full consciousness of expression. So this way, we're also the keyboard tied into the internet of spirit. And like that, then of course, as the old programming maxim, right, garbage in, garbage out. So again, we want to be conscious and focused in the way that we think. And in the way, if we can get a handle on that, sometimes really I think we have to act our way into right thinking, to be honest with you. Because I can act my way into right thinking, and this character can sometimes still be, the committee can still be going. Now, I don't want you to think you need to call Camarillo anytime soon. I had a great demonstration this week. A guy who used to work with me showed up, who knew me when. And he was coming over to fix the toilet. He's a plumber. And he said, I had to come over here and see who this guy was who was talking to me on the phone, because it was a completely different guy than the guy that I remember from 15, 20 years ago when I was a general contractor. God, I want what you have, man. You're so stress-free, and you hardly cussed at all. So this is not a new idea, right? The carpenter said this a couple thousand years ago. He said to his friends, that's why I tell you, don't fret about life, what you're going to eat, or about your body, or what you're going to wear. There's more to living than food and clothing. Think about the crows. Think about the natural world. Get out in nature and look around and see what's going on out there. They don't plant or harvest. They don't have storerooms or barns, and yet Spirit feeds them. Spirit provides for them. And you, my friends, are worth a lot more than birds. This is the truth. This is what we're playing with. So if you come from that tradition, that's how they tie together. Right? So what about the Buddhist idea? Is there things in Buddhism? Well, really, if you're practicing the Eightfold Path, you're practicing the alignment, because you're not detached and allowing things to define who you are, so that we naturally demonstrate wisdom. We naturally live in a way that is in a moral way of living. That we have much better concentration and focus. And we take this practice of right understanding, right aspiration, right speech, right action, livelihood, effort, mindfulness, and concentration to do what? To get in touch with that impersonal nature thing. Right? The first two steps of treatment is recognizing that God is and that we're one with it. If we are practicing the Eightfold Path, that's where we end up. And if we can practice those 2 steps completely, it is added unto us. We really don't even have to say anything because the law knows. Okay, for those of you who've been around the teaching for a while, think about the last time that you actually treated for something in a conscious way or not, and it demonstrated anyway. And it demonstrated anyway. That's a gift of consciousness. That's a gift of spiritual practice. A gift of coming to places like this and hanging out with each other as we explore ways of living that are in harmony and peace and love with all beings, so that may all beings be happy. May all beings be free. So let's go with him and get the band up here. Who is?
Chloe.
All right, Chloe, get on up.
We only have 2 new little ones today, which is really a treat.
Come on, Chloe.
So we talked about God, and we did a meditation inside, and we talked about meditation, and we did we meditate, and we ate a nut, and we tasted for a second, and then we chew it slowly, and then we did the best parts, and we did a rainbow back there that we did. And I just want to say that I want to thank my parents for being here, and just be aware that I'm happy that I can have a great friends and family, and I finally graduated from the teen group, so I'm happy I'm an adult. And I want to say thanks for Mike for letting me be here, and thanks for Ken and everyone here. So thank you.